Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Packers 101. And today we're going to be predicting how more divisions are going to shape up at the end of the season. And this time we're probably going with the most controversial division in the entire league, and that is the NFC East. So the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, the Washington Commanders, and the New York Giants. We're going to be ranking how they finish from 4 to 1 at the end of the season. So starting off at number 4, this should be fairly obvious to anyone who's watching. It's going to be the Washington Commanders. Now, I'm very glad that they got rid of Dan Snyder, obviously, and the team as a whole seems to be moving in the right direction, but they're just not ready to compete for anything serious yet. On offense, they have some good pieces. Brian Robinson Jr. at running back, he showed some potential. Terry McLaurin at wide receiver, he's one of the best in the league, and he doesn't get talked about enough. Scary Terry, draft him in fantasy and show him the respect that he deserved. He is a great receiver. At quarterback, it's either going to be Jacoby Brissett or Sam Howell. And Jacoby Brissett hasn't been terrible in his years as a starter. He did all right for Cleveland last year. And Sam Howell is kind of an unproven guy. He hasn't played too many games yet. So, very uncertain at the quarterback position. And you need a solid quarterback to do anything of note in this league. Defense is pretty good. They got a stacked D line. Chase Young, Daron Payne, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen. There's a lot of pieces there. So the defense for Washington isn't the problem. Their offense is, and I don't think it's ready for them to be competing for a playoff spot just yet. If they still had Taylor Heineke, I might think a little bit different because he has potential as a starting quarterback, but without him, I don't see that offense being as good as it was last year. And at number 3, this is a little bit of a controversial take, but with Dallas, everything is. At number 3, I'm going with the Cowboys. So with the Dallas Cowboys, on paper, they should be one of the best teams in the league. On paper, their roster is stacked. Dak Prescott, even though I'm not his biggest fan, he is a pretty good quarterback. I have to give it to him. He has talent. Tony Pollard at running back, I think he's solid. I think that him as the starting running back, he's going to have a good season. Wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, he's amazing. CeeDee Lamb, one of the best in the league. Maybe not top 5, but very close. Michael Gallup, solid number 2 receiver. You can't go wrong there. And the Cowboys O-line, it still has good pieces with Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. Although the other 3 pieces not as good, but the Cowboys O-line should be okay, well enough to win games. And defensively, the Cowboys have a great roster. Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, they have pieces. On paper, this team should be really good, but in execution, I'm not a fan. I don't think the defense is going to have too many problems. I think the offense is going to struggle for one simple reason. Mike McCarthy is the head coach, and I'm a Packers fan. I watched Mike McCarthy coach for over 10 years. Trust me, he's not the guy. He is not the guy. He is going to make Dallas struggle. I don't see the Cowboys looking very consistent. I see them having a lot of highs and lows. And I honestly see the Giants and the Eagles finishing above the Cowboys. So, Cowboys, you finish at 3 despite that stacked roster. At number 2, I'm going with Big Blue, the New York Football Giants. So, looking at the Cowboys and the Giants, even though I rank the Cowboys lower to finish, I do think the Cowboys roster is better than the Giants. They have an edge at just about every position. Quarterback, obviously, much better for the Cowboys. Wide receiver, better for the Cowboys. But with the Giants, I think the main difference comes in with the coaching. Brian Dable, in his first year as the Giants head coach, he was amazing. He took a team that nobody had any expectations for and got them to the playoffs. Not only that, also beat the Vikings in the wild card round. So I think Brian Dable deserves a lot of credit, and I think that he is going to evolve this team more into year 2 with more pieces to work with now. They signed Darren Waller from the Raiders, and I think that that's a big piece that not a lot of people are talking about. He was one of the best tight ends in the league a few years ago. I know he's had injury problems, but I think that in the right system, he can live up to his full potential. Taking a look at the Giants' defense, there are players there. Obviously, you got Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau, and they can get after the quarterback. And again, this comes down to coaching. I think the Giants are very well coached, and I think that they will get a playoff spot and finish second in the NFC East. And at number 1, this should be no surprise to anybody. We're going with the Philadelphia Eagles, the NFC champions from last year. So the Eagles roster is just amazing. Jalen Hurts had an amazing season last year as the Eagles starting quarterback. One of the best seasons I've ever seen in terms of a mobile quarterback. He can throw well and he can run well. The Eagles ran the ball very well last year too with Miles Sanders. Even though he's no longer there, they did get DeAndre Swift, and I think that he's going to be great for that team, not only rushing but as a receiving back. I think that that is a great fit for DeAndre Swift. And if you're playing fantasy football, draft him. I promise it's going to work out for your league. Uh, Wide receiver, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, pretty good 1-2 combination. Tight end, they got Dallas Goedert. They're set there. And defensively, drafting Jalen Carter along that already stacked Eagles defensive line, that's a huge win. The Eagles defense, even though I would argue it's slightly underperformed last year, I think this year, under a new direction, it's going to be much better. And with the new talent added, I would be very wary of this Eagles defense. I think they're going to be hard to get past. I believe the Eagles are the most complete team out of anybody in the NFC East. And I also believe they're the best coach team in the league by Nick Sirianni. He had an amazing year as the Eagles head coach. So, yeah, Eagles finish first in the NFC East. I could honestly see them making the Super Bowl again. It's not that difficult a path this year in the NFC. Anyway, those are my predictions for the NFC East. I have the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Eagles. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I know Cowboy fans are going to light me up, but I'm fine with it. We always beat you in the playoffs anyway, Cowboys, even without Aaron Rodgers. And that's going to do it for this video, and I hope you all have a good day. See you next time.